Hello everybody. Welcome back to my mini series. And in today's video, I'm going to be talking about the throat center, which is the center for communication and manifestation. And it's what all of the other centers are trying to get to. They're all trying to reach the throat so that the throat can then express itself. So I'm going to look down a little bit today because I've got a few notes that I really wanted to make sure I go through. Before I do, just a very quick one. If you haven't seen the head center video and the ajna center video, please do go back and watch those. They'll be linked down below. Simply because I talk about defined, undefined, and open, and I give you an overview of that. So hopefully that will then make sense as I talk about those phrases in this video. Before I start, I want to just very quickly share my screen. And again, we're going to be looking at this human design chart. If you would like to get yours for free, just go to effiemoss.com and you can download yours for free. And in fact, if you hover over it on your screen, you should be able to get an overlay of a description of what each of these centers are. So today we're going to be talking about this center here. This is the throat center. And this is what we call undefined. And you can see it's got gate 56, 12, 33, and 31 active. So these are defined gates. They are all active, and this center is undefined. If it's a white center with no numbers, no colored numbers, then the gate is called open. Okay, so we're going to be talking about this particular center. And as you can see with this chart, you can see like this spleen, this is a spleen that's trying to get it to the throat. So the 48 is looking for its 62. It's trying to get matched to its 62 in the world so it can complete this channel, so it can be expressed through the throat center. You know, here you've got like 17 in the ajna center looking for the 62. So it's out there in the world, literally out there in the world going, trying to find its matching 62 so it can be expressed through the throat. So it's really, you know, it's very, very, very fascinating. So let me go back so I can see you all. Okay, let's give you some really interesting stats. So firstly, 72% of the population will have the throat center defined. They'll have it colored in. 28% will have it undefined. So when you have a center that's defined energy, it means you've got consistent access to that energy, okay? And with the throat, that is communication, that's manifestation, okay? And I often find that people with defined throat centers are very sure of their voice. They can be quite blunt, you know, they're very clear in their delivery, they know what they want to say. And depending on where their throat is connected to in the chart. So for example, if it's connected to spleen, they might talk about their fears. If it's connected to their emotional center, they may be always talking about tend to talk about their emotions. So it depends where it's connected to in the rest of the chart, will depend on what's being expressed. The other interesting thing about the throat center as well is that all of those gates, all of those little numbers, and that's what I'm going to go through today with you, each have a little voice. Okay, so I'm going to go through, I'm going to look down, but I'd like you to just think about, and if you'd like to have your chart, go back and just see what numbers are colored in, and just see if you express these things, okay? Because I know I do, right? So gate 56, this gate talks about I believe. So somebody with gate 56 will often be talking about something that they believe. I believe, or I don't believe. I don't believe this. Now, I have a gate 56, and actually when I take a pause, I find myself saying that. And it's not because I know this, right? I was doing it way before. Peel back the layers and you'll start to notice things. Gate 45, 45, if you have gate 45 active, then you're sharing what you have to offer, okay? Or what you can't offer. So it's all you're either like being optimistic about something that you can do or pessimistic about something you can't do, right? It's one or the other. Gate 12, expressing what you're willing to try. Love this. Expressing what you're willing to try. I'm prepared to do this. I'm not prepared to do that. Okay, that's often expressed through your gate 12. Yeah. And then gate 35, I feel this, I feel that. I don't feel this, I don't feel that. And with gate 35 as well, you know, if that is starting to make its connection to the emotional center, then it would make sense where you would talk about I feel, right? Just a small note on this, by the way, you aren't your feelings. And a lot of people will say, I am sad, I am happy, I am surprised. You can't be your feelings. You can't be surprised. You can't be sad. You can't be happy. when you do that, you assign it to your identity. You're telling yourself, you're telling the universe that you are these things. So therefore, bring me more of it. So if you can tweak your language to be more about I feel, you're expressing an emotion. You're expressing something that you are sensing, right? Can you feel the difference between I feel and I am? So you don't then need to own those emotions. And I've seen a lot of people, through the hundreds of charts I've been fortunate enough to read, and through all of the work that I've done over the years, it's always amazing to me how much we try to take ownership for those feelings. I am sad, so therefore every other part of my being must be sad, right? I am disappointed, so therefore everything I express through my being is disappointment. But you're not those things. You don't need to embody those things. You don't need to try them on like a jacket, right? You can feel them and let those feelings pass through, because if you don't let those feelings pass through, it's like putting a lid down on a boiling pot, and at some point it's going to burst open, right? This is like when you talk about suppressed rage, suppressed anger, suppressed trauma, things like that. We tend to put a lid on them, and what happens is we pile more and more feelings in. They start to bubble, and eventually the pressure cooker lid comes off and it all goes psh, right? So I love this gate. I think with gate 55, especially if you have it defined in your chart, just think about how you are expressing your emotions. Are you saying I am those emotions, or are you saying I feel? Because gate 55 should be expressed as I feel, or I don't feel. I don't feel this thing. Okay, so you can say the opposite as well. Gate 33, I have a gate 33, and gate 33 is very much entwined with like storytelling and also the stillness, being able to go within. And this is about I remember or I don't remember, right? So if you're telling stories, if you are integrating those stories into your being, then your gate 33 will tend to express itself through I remember this, I remember that, or I don't remember this, I don't remember that. Okay, doesn't mean you haven't got a strong mind. It's not that. It's just in the sense of telling those stories, sharing those stories, putting those analogies together. That's how you create connection with people. Gate 8, nice, lovely, lovely creative gate. I can contribute or I can't contribute, right? I can contribute to this. I'm happy to do this. I'm not happy to do this. I can't contribute to this. And that's how gate 8 tends to be expressed. Gate 31 is the democratic leadership gate. So often this gate is being asked to be expressed through the gentle suggestion of others, right? So gate 31 will express itself as sharing something you want to share in terms of leading your community, your tribe, your team, your people, right? They're the people that are going to stick their head above the parapet, depending on whether that center is defined or undefined. If it's defined, then they're normally going to be, they'll have the energy within them. They're going to be able to share what they want to share, and that's it. If it's undefined, depending on what other centers are undefined in their chart, if you've got an open emotional center, you may want to read the room before you actually then land the message. If you've got the gate of shock, for example, and you've got a defined center, you're going to deliver that without any challenge or problem. But if you've got an open emotional center, maybe you're going to sense the room first and adapt what you're going to say so that it's heard. Okay. And that will often flow through gate 31. You've got gate 20. So this is about being in the now. So I am, I'm not, right? Just think about that. Think about if you've got gate 20, how you're expressing it. And that's how it wants to communicate. I am this, I am not this, right? Just think about that. And then you've got gate 16. I know how to do this. I don't know how to do this. So you'll often find with people who have gate 16 defined in their chart, so it's colored in on their throat center, they're going to be they should be very, very clear in saying, I know how to do this. I know how to maybe start this project. I know how to finish this project. I know more about this, right? Or I don't know about this. I don't know anything about this. And I think, there's a balance between embracing the I do and I don't, because both is a full expression. Okay. And just for, with the throat center is a really interesting center as well, because if it's undefined, you may find that you talk when you like to fill in spaces. So you're not very happy with or uncomfortable with silence. But then if you have a defined center, you might find that the least optimal expression of that is, again, that you want to just talk, right? Because you like sharing stuff that you feel is quite important, but actually you want to fill the gap. and you'll just talk stuff. I mean, I do it when I'm nervous. When I'm nervous, or if I'm just about to get on a plane, I'm not a big fan. Just about to get on a plane. So there's an interesting story I tell myself there, by the way. But it's there, and we're working through it. But I will talk anything and everyone, anything about anyone. I actually have no filter. And I have an undefined throat center, and it just made me giggle so much when I discovered that I had an undefined throat center. And what it's done is it has given me permission to like pause and gone, actually, Effie, it's your undefined throat, just wanting to kind of be a bit of a monkey here and just kind of want to fill in the space. What if you just sit in with your gate 33 and just have a moment of stillness and just work out what's going on around you? You just suddenly feel like your energy levels drop and you just feel like, okay, I'm leaning into this a little bit more. And that's the power of knowing your design. That's the power of understanding your centers. You've got gate 62, I think, or I don't think. So I think this, I think that. I don't think this, I don't think that. So just think about your gate 62 and how you might express that if you've got that defined in your chart. And then lastly, gate 23 is I don't know or I know, right? I don't know this, I don't know that, versus I know this, I know that. And it's quite interesting because I can give you this list, right, as I have done in this video, and say, this is what the different gates are trying to express, right? This is the voice of each of those gates. But you might use different words meaning something very similar. And those different words have come from your upbringing, the people you're with, your education, the content you absorb. You may choose a different word for you. So just see what the equivalent of that word is. This isn't about being a purist, right? It's just seeing if you can relate to any of those messages that your throat constantly is trying to come and, to communicate with, right? And just see what those words are. And it's really interesting because I think when you do that exercise, so say, for example, you wrote down all the gates and you wrote down those meanings I've just mentioned, and then just maybe record yourself having a conversation with somebody. And then just when it's quiet, just play it back and just see if you can hear any of those phrases coming out. And then if you go to a human design chart, just see what little numbers are colored in on your throat center and see what you're using as your equivalent to that terminology. I don't want to make human design complicated. It isn't complex. Well, it is complex, very complex, but I don't want to do it. I want to simplify it so you can lean into it, so you can hopefully relate to it. But more than anything, I think, when you get to grips with it and you understand it, it gives you a sense of peace, this sense of knowing that actually, we're all doing the best that we can with what we have, and we're, creating an amazing life. That's the gift that's been given to all of us. And I certainly don't want to be sitting here saying, well, gate 31 says this, so therefore you must be saying this. No, think about how you optimally express that gate. All right, let me know if you've got an undefined center, defined center. Let me know if any of these gates resonate with you or what words you use rather than the ones that I've said. I'd be very, very interested. And being the projector, please, please, please just comment down below. I love conversation, as you know, and I'm always very excited to see the community talking back to me. So I will speak to you in the next video. Take care, everybody. Bye.